fight. And as we go on in, there'll be laser beams coming from fingertips later on. For now, pistol round about to go down. G2, well, they're going to start this one out on the defense. We'll see if they're able to put up as much of a fight on the attack side as GX were able to put up in that first map. We're expecting a close series after the taster we had. Now it's time to get into the main course.
Yeah, this map has of recent. G2 have been stellar this stage, played it a couple of times, won both. Again, teams not getting to double digits, but I feel like the last map proved that that's irrelevant. Rezku already will be shut down, the hero of the last map. We saw it when she went missing for a bit, so did G2. When she came back, well, the game ended. Already a two-player advantage for that side of GX. Mimi trying to dance around the site, but it will only be the one.
Keeping it to a 2v4. Low HP on Smurfette. Jolina tagged up a little bit. Hey, it's an uphill battle, but well, G2, they've made this hike before. A little bit of damage as well. Dispersed. This is starting to shape up in a manageable way. The only thing is, Amy's quite far behind. She's been sneaking up. That position might get her some value. The recon to start with, though, destroyed, giving away the position. And now, GX should have all the info to work with. Late elbow play, time ticking away. This is going to be too far done, and because they've not seen contact, Smurfette's gone walkabouts. She's on the flank, and now big kills needed, and quickly for G2 to have a chance. They land nothing. And GX go 1-0 to start out map 2.
Yeah, a solid start, and I think a necessary one. Like, after having a good comeback, a close map, and then ultimately it's still going the way of G2. It's definitely not what you want to see, him being able to get the pistol under their belt. I like as well, again, we just see this from GX. They're willing to fight portions of the map early, fall back, and then reset into more of a hit. They have been battling throughout the entirety of the last, especially on that defensive side. And well, in this round at least, not going to be a lot available. It's a scenario where you basically just have those classics online.
Well, they've definitely not stacked the right side, have they? And they've not gotten wise to it later on in the round either. G2 are going to be going for this all five together. The pack. GX not in too much of a dissimilar situation. I like the setup they have. One player watching either extremity from slightly wider out. They can get away just around the corner. And then the 3-1s on site, alongside the player from the other angle, can clean up the kills. Main thing is to avoid that utility, the stun, and then the run and gun. That would be usually followed up by rescue. Time ticks away. No real indication that G2 want to go for this. Seems like they're going to take this one. Just going down to the spike and maybe punishing any over-aggression. Jolina finds a kill. If anything, Rescue's happy about that. Mimi, same sort of position. Give Cypher orbs over, and in exchange, getting a couple of decent ult orbs of your own. But in the end, it's about as clean as you could hope for GX, and 2-0 start on map 2 after a close first. Yeah, well, G2 could be feeling the same soon.
We got you.
Got him in 4K, or at least 1080p.
This is where mum's at home being like, yeah, you're only eating salads this week, all right? You're on a solid diet.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Caught red-handed.
That's what everybody is fighting for. Again, all memes aside on previous trophies. This one looks badass. I might just have to thieve it. But this is where we actually see those rifles get online now for G2. This is where they're looking to try and step up to the plate. Come on, for the attack early on, fighting through some of that aggressive utility, making sure that G2 aren't going to get a lot of space for free. In fact, they're having to play fairly passive. The aggressive position that's currently there for Rezku will give them quite a bit of information. They're able to gamble a couple to watch that top of mid alongside the trip, and then the other two dedicated to B. And with that side of the map not being pressured at all, it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. GX, there's a lot of knowledge of where they're going right now.
Yeah, G2 have that knowledge, for sure. But the paranoia, the reveal on the backside, that's causing problems. Up comes Biori, big swing, but she's dropped. Vanya there for two, still holding strong with the spike on the floor, and a fourth secured. It's Ness to do it all. 4 players to drop and an ace to avoid Vanya. She's gonna want it, but she's low HP. So is Mimi. They might decide to sit back and just let this one taper out with some of the other players, but Vanya, I'm not sure what that flash was. Vanya's got a chance, but the chance is stolen away by Rescue. Still not gonna turn your nose at a 4K like that.
Well, that's the thing. We spoke to her earlier. Said she's got family in the crowd. Would have been nice to get the first ace, but let's be real. There's someone else who wants that title, and it was the person who stole it away. The Rescue with the extra kill, claiming the orb, and more importantly, claiming the first round on the board for G2. That's the thing, though. I don't think that the amount they were able to get away with their gamble stacks and quick rotations will be possible. Just so much control early on. I think they're going to go for it again, like consistent usage of the stuns. And once they can put Rescue in place, I said she can take those fights, have a get-out-of-jail-free card with the slide, and they can just send their personnel elsewhere.
Yeah, they got time to play with, that's for sure. Control to work around. GX, well, Extremity's being watched, despite the fact that there's traps there. And they're really expecting G2 to fall for the bait, that if they pump the brakes, G2 will be the ones putting their foot on the gas. But there's no movement. This defensive side is extremely patient. First point of contact already seen. Big play from Smurfette. Straight in with the slide and taking down Rescue. Elbow open, although now secured by Mimi. Side fight goes in for Petra. They're keeping presence. They're not giving up the control just yet. GX haven't decided to leverage it out of their hands. They might even go back.
Not wanting to overplay their hand. As said, we've spoken about this team as ferocious in their aggression at times, but this is really tempered. They're trying to sell a ruse, and now heading back into the A site. A ruse hasn't really been sold. The late smoke is an idea. It's trying to put something in the minds of G2, and it has not worked. There are still 3 players ready and waiting. Already a one-way smoke placed. This is now a really difficult task, even with a player advantage. The stun is perfect, and so is the execution. A complete cleanup from an advantage to not a single kill found. That is clean from G2.
Yeah, and of all the people to claim that advantage with, it was Rescue that fell. It was elbow open. Like I said, Mimi was there quickly to pad the gap, and the response, I don't think was the wrong one. Yeah, you decide to pump the brakes. Wait, you see nothing, no contact, no re-clear from this squad. You're going to assume they've rotated. They're going to assume you've rotated. It's not the case. Ready and waiting, 3 players, a perfect stun, and with barely any time on the clock. Listen, they ran that fake down as long as they could. They just couldn't convince G2 that it was going the other way. A step ahead was the defensive side. We'll see if that's the case in this round. Investment certainly seems to indicate it will be. Sheriffs, an SMG, and a Bucky to try to take control of B site. The scary thing is they've got it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've seen Bucky clips with a Neon. I've not seen them with a Cypher pushing aggressively, but clearly Miori's been practicing. That advantage doesn't last for long. Aftershock holding them back, buying time. They've still got more in this round than maybe expected, but Rescue's quick on the clear, and now the remaining players have to fall back and try and hold in the post.
Yeah, this is where the trouble begins. Fact is, they've only got 3 Sheriffs, so spamming is not their forte. Straight through the smoke, at least it's a narrow angle to spam on, and a player walked through the smoke for the advantage. Defuse have, but they've not been able to get it across the line, and Rolling Thunder delays the time, starting to tick away. The pressure on for G2. They need the kills, and they'll find nothing. GX, they're not giving the lead away with a pay safeguard. Thrifty, it's 3-2.
I thought there was no way in hell they win that round. I'll be brutally honest with you. Like, that Rolling Thunder actually came online in the middle of that. It was the aggression going in that gave her the quick thinking from Sarah. It's a gamble. You're throwing in an ultimate in a round where ultimately if it doesn't go well, you're going to feel foolish. But the fact is, it works out perfectly.
I think it's even feeling foolish. It's also, you definitely don't have the time to communicate effectively in those moments to say, hey guys, I've got the ult, should I throw it in? And let's have a democratic conversation about it. You're about to throw away a piece of utility. If it doesn't land, your team's gonna be mad. or at least you'll have let them down. This time, though, it worked out. Last time, let's say, because this time it's G2 with a 2-player advantage off rip. Smurfette grabs one, but it only serves as a trade. 3 versus 2. And the plan still to be secured. Ult on Smurfette, not going to be worth that much, but that kill is worth its weight in gold. Rescue up top, about to be faced by 2, and the big swing from GX gets him a big round. Plant can now be secured, and it's only Vanya. Risky statement. Only Vanya to take him down.
Yeah, only Vanya. Only the player who has been consistently top 1 or top 2 in EMEA, even on our previous teams. The reason G2 signed her in the first place. Even still, these sort of clutches are never easy, especially against a duo that has worked together for such a long time. She's isolated the battle, though. Put things into the 1 versus 1. Facing off against Ness, already getting it up, but needs to let go, and it's 11 HP that makes the difference. But that's enough for Ness.
Just about. And the reading on that timing, too, she knew it was just half. That was the exact moment to push in, to catch them, taking their weapon back out. What a risk, but what a reward as well. And for this side, you know, the push, it didn't start out terribly, but they had to trade back and forth. G2 were not letting it slip away. But this was also something that Kuripuya said. She was very impressed by the trading game that GX were playing in that last map. Always able to pull themselves back out of those aggressive peaks that come in from G2. There would be a punish. There would be another player waiting. And now the reward, 4-2 in the lead. A low buy for G2, but still an opening pick. This is not an ideal start.
Oh, looking to trade value with the ultimates. The thing is, for Rescue, when her ult runs out, she has nothing to play with. Smurfette's, well, actually had a couple of guns to try and make it work after her teammate was lost, and that's the problem here for G2, is they don't have much in terms of weaponry. Amy with a Guardian is always something to fear, and with the Sheriff now pushing up, it is going to be a bloodbath. It just depends on what direction. Well, that Rolling Thunder almost seems worthless because Amy and Vanya have combined to kill them all. A complete wipe down with an Andalucia flawless. And well, I feel like a lot of the time in these rounds, you need to throw expectations out the window because I don't know how they've won that and won it clean.
It was so clean that PaySafe Card are going to be writing a complaint. That was a thrifty as well. Little double whammy for them. Look, not an ideal situation to say the least when they've got barely anything to work with. And when it comes off a, I would say, fairly predictable opening aggression, the ult is popped. Well, you know, she's going to want to use it pretty soon. And still, despite those players being ready for the fight, they're not winning it. Not taking it across the line this time. GX, aggression again from Smurfette. It is only pistols, so why not?
I like the idea in that round that Mimi went, oh, they're here, I'm going to... Oh,
and they're all dead.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Amy. Couldn't have done that before my ult, you know, just a second earlier. Not a bad start in this one. Rescue again, her aggression has been forced back, down on just 15 HP. Again, though, weaponry swings heavily in one direction. You do still have a Hunter's Fury for either side, potential Plant and Nile if GX managed to get that far, and on the other side, if a round gets close, if it gets late, or Ness could be a pinnacle part. I don't know if she's going to be alive much longer. Mimi, after not getting to do much with her ult last round, has decided the battle breach is here to play.
Well, it was up against the pistols. That seems to have a little bit of life to them. Jolina with one, Spike on its way to B. And if this other pick goes Jolina's way, if she keeps on pushing and finds Vanya, if she clears the corner, it could be a big danger with weapons to be recovered. Luckily, she doesn't. Vanya is out of there, regrouping with her teammate, ready to take this fight together. And if the spike went the other way, they're ready for that too. All their bases covered on G2, and that is 4-4. We're tied up, and that lead that GX fought so far, so hard for, has slipped away.
And this is the thing. It seems like this can happen pretty much any moment with G2 on the server. Any pause taken and the switch just flips the other way. And you have to bear in mind the circumstance here. Obviously, some of the best maps of their squad, Ascent, Icebox, were out. They didn't have those as opportunities. Mentioned Bind not being a strong map for them. That's one of the weaknesses that G2 has. That's the only map they lost in the entirety of this stage. Shout out NASA for that. Other than that, there isn't a good place for them to go. This was their best bet. This was their best hope at getting a map. They did well in the last, and Jolina's already done well in this round, giving them an advantage.
Was that ult or Shrouded Step through to backside? Grabs 2 kills. Petra in the ultimate as well. Hunter's Fury. Well, it comes at the cost of her life. GX. They've got site control. They've got everything lined up for them with this late flank as well. If Amy goes down, it's basically done. That trap now broken. They know there's a flanker underway. That means they know there's only 3 on site, and sites are definitely set forward. Vanya coming around the back, catches Jolina. The rescue had already closed out the round. This is another for G2, but that round, well, rewind 30 seconds, it doesn't look like it's going their way.
A 3v4 post-plant retake with equal weaponry never should happen. Especially not in the manner which they just did. That looked so incredibly easy. A solid paranoia pushed everybody into a similar corner, and from then onwards it just seemed like they were trying to fight to get back into position, and they lost every single one of those fights along the way.
So I missed the start of the round. I don't know what I was looking at when Jolina went for the play, but I think, did she insta-paranoia, catch the players with the paranoia, and then go for ult? Because otherwise, why did they not turn around, right? Big round from her either way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch that one back after this map. Vanya! Oh, that's a tough start. Smurfette goes sprinting through, and not a normal angle to be held either. But it's an outlaw there. Now the rest of the squad, terrified, because everybody has light shields on GX. That outlaw is a 2-shot operator.
This is, again, just the economy read. They're ready for whatever's going to be thrown at them. We saw Vanya do this in the last map as well, just throw in that sniper, save some credits, and also has a good opportunity
hey, we got the wave
to do some damage. And for GX in this round, damage would be nice. Couple away from Sarah's ultimate once again. We saw the impact it could have when they had a low buy last time around, so I wouldn't be too worried. And actually, I don't know how Miori's managed to bypass all of Amy's utility without her noticing, but there's definitely been a gap left there. A mistake from G2 that has been punished. Post plant in now. Sarah is 1 away from our ultimate. The same scenario we saw before. A single kill will do it for her.
Look at how quickly they're burning utility. Why was that flash used? You have to think if you're on G2. But of course, in the chaos, they're just going to spur forward, look for the retake. But it's because Jolina's on the flank. They just wanted to delay as long as they could so Jolina could strike. There's the kill and a weapon to be retrieved. The whole squad now from G2 coming in from one angle, and GX are ready for it. Paranoia is being deployed. Diffuse is underway.
No way!
It's almost there! A disaster! Right under their nose as well. Gotta be a pause.
That's a couple of scenarios now where I think GX are going to be absolutely kicking themselves. You are right. It is going to be a pause called. Last round losing that 4 versus 3 post plant. That round, I almost think that's just a read from the side of G2 going, okay, most of these players still have pistols. If we smoke this off, go for the defuse, you're trying to spam. There was actually a spam of a rifle. It just didn't connect a single bullet onto the player defusing. And after what was an impeccable round from that point onwards, it's got to be infuriating. Just Mimi able to, she took a bit of damage towards the end, but it got way too far.
But that's it. I mean,
look at the smile. She knows she got away with one there.
Because it's not just the fact that the spam through the smoke didn't work.
The wave!
That's just rude.
I actually asked that earlier to Amy.
That's just rude.
I was like, oh, if you do something incredible, you're gonna, because it's a bit more difficult because you're not facing each other. She went, you know, you could lean back and have a wave, and that's exactly what Mimi has done.
Oh man, and the tragic thing is, and for Mimi, the thing that's gonna make you pretty happy, she sees a player before the defuse goes through, running into the smoke and spraying a rifle, but they're running and spraying, and the bullets just don't connect. It was hitting her legs, her back, but not the head. And the defuse comes across the line before it does. That is the ultimate. It's not just that you stuck it under their nose. They looked you in the eye as you finished it off, and then went, oh, I'm dead now. The round's gone. A tough pill to swallow, I'll say that.
Well, it's been a tough couple of rounds, that's for sure. These are sort of rounds that can break you. As I said, this is the map choice of GX. The one chance that they may get to choose a map. If this doesn't go their way, the next one is right back to G2 with a potential 3-0 on the cards. Rolling Thunder going to be used proactively, though. Aggressively in goes Smurfette, but the battles go the way of G2 anyway. A shorty kill for Amy, a quick response And now they're stunned up themselves, leaving just a couple to try and fight this one back. Sarah and Mayuri, ultimate's already gone, utility being expended, and so much time to be bought. Again, the retake from G2 is stellar. Well, they have time to spare.
The fact that you have Rolling Thunder put in, and Amy's reaction is just beautiful. Immediate shorty in the smoke. She knows someone's going to try to push up. Probably the Neon.
I want to know if she bought that for this round.
I think so.
Because if she did, that's just a hot, like going, okay, if I get Rolling Thunder, I'm going to shorty them.
Yep. I think that might be what we just witnessed.
Oh, she gets saved as well by Rescue.
Rescue's been having a game, and now the rest of G2 stepping it up, starting to put round after round on the board, feeling confident, taunting their opponents across the stage. Starting to feel like just another G2 game. Let's hope that doesn't carry forward. GX 7-5 still possible at the half. Although no ultimates here for either squad.
Even still, this one again has just been a mass streak. A large amount of rounds going in a row for G2. They did this last map as well, where it just seemed like the game was starting to slip away from GX, and that champion's mentality always there for G2. Down, never out, and also most of the time not down by much. Another attempted post plant. The retakes from G2 have looked unstoppable. Don't have ults to play with, excluding that from the shadows that might be able to get them some information, but they're going to know this is the classic post plant with a wraparound from Sarah.
Yeah, that's Sarah's late play, but they are ready for it, just like you said. Big stun as well, ready for the fight inside main. There's nothing that G2 haven't accounted for here, and with the defuse underway and no one left to stop it, it is 8-4 at the halftime. G2 with a statement victory in some of these rounds. The statement is, we're better.
Yeah, impeccable usage of their utility. The combinations that they have together was just sublime. And that is the thing with this team. They are so hard to break down and beat. Nonetheless, that is something that's going to have to be done, as we'll be back after the break.
Welcome back, folks. It's time to get into the second half of the second map. G2 leading. I suppose that comes as no real surprise from what we've seen out there so far.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. We're here. We're in Istanbul. No one's hot cammed the desk just yet. And as we get on into this one, you know, Tom, I'm excited because we've seen some promise there, but an 8-4 scoreline for G2, a more damning one than what we saw in that last half, and momentum in their favor. Do you see them coming back into this on the side of GX? Or is this G2 running away with the attack side?
Well, I've predicted a 3-0, so I kind of
It could still be close, Tom. It could still be close.
That is true. I hope it will be. I think the problem is I've always favored GX's attack side. I think that's where it's just that little bit easier to have that same level of synergy. They're going to go for aggressive defensive halves, and I think G2, even if it catches them off initially, they're very good at changing the way they play. They're very good at taking a pause, taking a moment, and then adapting. And now, well, the scariest thing is you have Rescue as the tip of the spear. Like, on defense, you can kind of question if she's going to have the same level of impact. On attack, it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, it's difficult to ask that question with a straight face. For G2, B site will be taken, but GX are quickly Sending one player to flank. The problem is that Cypher is still alive, so the trap has to give away the fact that the flanker's underway. Here we go, big swing from Mimi, nothing bounce. Smurfette's got B main control. Now a friend as well as Jolina groups up. G2 look for control elsewhere. They'll take market, and they've taken it over. For now, the numbers stay even, but Jolina causing headaches has dropped Petra backside, being crunched on. Rescue, 1 HP. Already found a kill, looking for more in the spawn. It's dangerous. Any bullet could take her down, and it's a headshot to do it. Amy trying to even numbers up, and with 7 HP, Jolina survives, and Miori thrives. A round for GX here with the pistol. Maybe a way back in.
That's both, right? That's the second pistol that they've won, so it's a lifeline for sure, but it doesn't necessarily tell anything about the story of how this map is going to go. I think we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of G2 predictors out there. Funny with the history of Stage 3 Grand Finals, but, well, when you look at the history of LAN, I suppose it's
yeah, I'd also say when you look at the history of G2, like pretty much any other form of history
any other statistic, actually.
Also, the thing is as well, it's like, for G2 in previous sort of matchups, you're talking about this as a seeding game. Like, do they go in as like #1 or #2? And well, there's 1 and 2. Smurfette kicking things off, farming up some orbs, and hopefully making this one nowhere near as costly as it can be at times. But yeah, like, there wasn't a trophy on the line. They weren't on LAN and getting real experience. Like, for you talk about some of the players on the team, but for someone like Rescue, who is about to go off to champs, having that LAN experience, having a crowd in front of you, having pressure in front of you from people supporting, or having family watching in the case of Vanya, it changes things. So I think that getting that experience, and more so for G2, as said, anytime there's an opportunity for a trophy in the cabinet, I expect them to take the trophy and put it in the cabinet.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair expectation. They've never proven us wrong on that front. Ness in for another, and Mimi's left to be cleaned up. Nicely done. No real dangers that managed to strike in that round. 8-6, they're on the road to recovery. And for GX, look, there's been a lot of big burst rounds from the side of G2. There's been a lot of individual plays. Now, they might just get to write their own script. Some of these early fights, like Smurfette landing that fight down mid, it might be hard to repeat. You'll see the smoke go up a little earlier next time, or players peek a little later. And the armor start to come through. But a good start. When we normally see G2 put up a little bit more resistance. Now the rifle round though.
Yeah, this is, again, like as I said, they've won both pistols. They've got 6 rounds. There's a theme that occurred in the last half, and we'll see if that's going to be a theme again. Smurfette, prime position.
No hits?
Yeah, surprisingly. I thought at least one of those bullets would connect, but the damage not done. Of course, she's not going to shy away from a fight. I'm curious to see if there will be any sort of utility put in place to support her. Sarah's not too far away, but with the stun gone, it would have to be a guess of a flash to try and set up her IGL. And instead, well, Smurfette's just gone walkabouts, already pushing down mid. This gives so much information, and this 1-2 punch waiting on the other side is already just going to be obliterated. Rescue, what a double opener.
Yeah, I've gotten kind of sick of saying that, actually, in this series, to be honest. At least the trade back there from Smurfette. Round won't slip away for free. Damage done to her, sure, but she'll be able to pack a punch in some of these duels. Big play here. If Sarah can pick up this double, it's a huge task. Not one she should be able to make happen with a Bulldog, but there's support from Miori, and now it becomes more doable. Flash primed and ready. There it is, and the pre-fire took her down. Leaves only the trade for Miori, and she will quickly be taken out of the round. Smurfette, how much damage can she do? I think the answer should be 0. Time's running pretty low. I expect them to kind of start running away now, but still sticking around. A chance, perhaps. And indeed, still, but the smoke is going to cancel her out, and now Smurfette's going down to the spike. Unlucky. Oh, is she going to hunt them with the rifle? Try to run all the way down, survive, and take as many with her as she can? Hey, listen, give it your best shot. But G2 were ready, 9-6.
Yeah, they've got the cash that in the next round that's not really going to cause too many issues, and I think getting that ult closer to being online could be a big part of it. Was Neon very popular in the server and out, it seems, but we'll have to wait.
The cameraman isn't. Someone's pointing the gun at him.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, a little bit of damage, not too much for G2 to worry about. And that's the thing again, it's just when Rescue's in this sort of form, you can see already just on this attack side, the confidence that she comes in with. I feel like someone almost needs to shut her down early, and well, Smurfette has done just that. Her opposing Neon, her doppelganger, has done the job. And to be honest, that was a relatively solo fight. Like the rest of G2 were very far behind Rescue. And with no success this time around, they now have to try and recover this.
Well, this is the thing, yeah, the mid fights have been good for GX so far, at least when it's fighting down mid. Let's see how up top, nice up close and cozy is gonna go. There's 4 players ready, there's a flash fired through, but they're very hesitant to commit deep to that control. Still have traps up either side of the map, but nothing to work with, no players embedded. This is just a blob of death moving towards the B site, which is going past 2 players in spawn, through 2 players on the site. I mean, their work is cut out for them, but Jolina and Ness fall. Spawn and site dealt with. Smurfette still lurking around, still looking to cause problems. The head peek's good. Amy caught putting her cam down. Now on the other side, Smurfette looks for a little bit more. A lot more, in fact. That could have been a 4K in this round. Instead, it's a 2v2 retake. Still winnable for GX.
Guys, she's given her teammates a chance. The fights from G2 were impeccable, but falling to Smurfette has left this one with an opportunity. Mimi wrapping around the back, but it's expected by Sarah. A solid read from the ex-teammate, and now Petra may just meet the same fate. It's close, but it's Miori to find out that trade. GX, a 7th round, continue their climb back towards that G2 lead, just like they did in that previous map.
Certainly starting to rise up. We're going to see just how far they can make it. Double digits is a road marker. That 13th is what they're looking for, and if you're GX, it'll feel a little bit more doable after a round like this. Surrounded, Smurfette stands her ground. Opening pick on mid went her way too. And then, well, despite Petra having a good shot at it, get the round on the board. Now, we'll look to see if the plan is going to be the same. Early round, does Smurfette keep fighting mid? It's been very successful, so I wouldn't be surprised.
It's a hero rifle for both of the Turkish stars. Rescue would be the one to try and lead the charge as always, but there is a lot of defensive players already on this A site. 4 of them, in fact, waiting for this push to come in. Rolling Thunder will lead the charge. Rescue, it's perfect again. Set her up. She'll knock him down. She goes hunting for a little bit more. That's guns to be retrieved as well for the other members of G2, as there looks to be a response. An attempted swing from Ness is countered. And now kept out by the smoke. This is not going to be an easy retake. Already pop flash through, but it's just too easy for G2. 1 player standing. Potential for a flawless and a low round. Modulina at least stops that. But 5 HP, 3 to find. Good luck.
Yeah, it is unfortunately not going to get done this time. The big swing confirms. 10-7. G2. I mean, that previous round, if you're sat on GX, you've got to be disappointed. Oh, no, Jade. Oh. We've got time. We've got time. We've got to wait a little bit, but we'll see them. Get y'all back out there. But yeah, we start out Rolling Thunder. It's grabbing kills for Rescue. You know, this isn't even one of those rounds where Rescue just goes absolutely ham, picking up all the kills. This is well set up, well structured early round utility that catches them. Individual able to convert. The side of GX, it's just it's
unfortunate because they had the read. They had their players in the right place at the right time, but especially in a low buy round, you don't necessarily expect a team to be fully willing to commit a Rolling Thunder into that one. So you play these closer positions, you play the crossfires, and you just get wrecked by the ult.
I mean, what that is a lot of the time when you use that Rolling Thunder, when you've got the 1 rifle going in first, a big hitter, they're going to get dropped. More times than not. They see the Rolling Thunder online. A lot of the time, your opponents are playing back off-site, and if they take that pick, round's basically over. Your chances of actually doing something from there on, they go down. It's a risk that could happen. But instead, the reward is, I mean, you got Rescue as the tip of your spear. You know you're drawing blood every time. That's been the case from what we've seen. They've got to deal with her. They've got plenty more to deal with as well.
The Nest jet needs to come. I even mentioned it.
You did?
Mentioned
you brought it up.
Loch Ness Monster. That's who we need to see. That's who they need right now, because it is starting to get back into that territory again where when you see G2 win rounds like that, like a solid read, double entries coming in, it's definitely not getting any easier. Wow, that's just unlucky. An obscure corner being played by Petra. And that is sort of the round over. Like, you're looking at throwing in the overdrive for Smurfette as one of the pinnacle parts of this round. It's not going to get any easier from here, especially when Rescue is in their spawn. Fighting in their spawn. Sarah had no idea. And now Ness is going to try and see if she can fight. Look at where the rest of the team are, by the way. Just look at where Rescue is. Look at the rest of the team. They're only just making their way through B main. She is just playing her own game at the moment. And while Ness has finally put the enter, it's whether or not she can get the gun before anybody can make a move. And that's not the case. She knows where they all are. There's not much she can do about it.
Yeah, not with that weaponry. Vanya. Plenty more players stacked up and ready. Big swing. And a close to the round right after. You would expect, but you might be wrong. Miori at least had some fight left in her. Jolina on back side recovers the Sheriff. Looks for a headshot angle, I thought. Yeah, there's the jump up from Petra. She's looking the right way, but turns around at the last moment. We're in the late stage of this map now, Tom, and it is starting to slip out of the grasp of GX. Hands off the reins, and the cart's running away. They've got to tame this one. G2. Well, they won't be looking to stick around on Sunset for very much longer.
Yeah, I've got to mention it again. Last map was close. It was the pick of G2. This one, Sunset, it's maybe the one chance that we would actually see for a map to be chosen, but it was mentioned by the desk, mentioned by us as well, that these first 3 maps are solid. Like, they are good maps for G2. You weren't going to find a weakness when they get 2 bans. Like, that's the scary thing. When they go through that upper bracket, when they get the choice of what maps are played, you have to go to their territory. And we said it was always going to be an uphill battle for GX, but if there's going to be a response, it really does need to be here. Abyss has not been a friendly face for GX, and I don't think G2 have lost it since it's been put into the pool.
I think there were some moments where it came close. Even Kuripuya, I think, was one of the should be on one of the teams that made it very close. But taking the win is a different story up against this squad on every map. 11-7, disadvantage with Rescue down. Again, the tip of the spear going in. She will fall sometimes. Bounce off the armor. But instead, there's always that second wind to it. The attack side grouped up. I like Vanya's spot. The fact there's players baiting for her on default as well, but the reveal has very much put an end to that plan. G2 still winning the fights afterwards. The trades coming in droves as Petra sneaks around the side, catches the angle, knows that Ness is just around the corner. And it's put to bed with 5 chances to close out this map. A strong one for G2. The sun may be setting on this series, and a dark night awaits ahead in the Abyss.
Yeah, we are now sat in a position where, again, you look at a disadvantage for the side of G2, but once they get into the post plants, they're always terrifying. And I thought the major danger was gone. They got rid of Rescue and Vanya without much of a response. And then it's just the Petra, Mimi, Amy show. Like, just combinations of util, the peaks, the swings, the timing being perfect, and then even at the end, just Petra reading where her opponent would be. Logically, you're going to expect someone to be in main. You're going to expect at least one player to be there, but no. And now with what is a weaker purchase, what is a few pieces missing, no high value ults online from the get-go, Rolling Thunder will be retrieved though. That's something at least. The retake looks a hell of a lot more deadly. But also with pressure potentially going to come in onto Smurfette. I don't know if she's actually been revealed. That could be an opportunity for her to strike, and it's actually aiming to go down for it.
Oh, okay. Bold re-peek, and one that Petra's not willing to let slide. A peek from Ness, though, could be risky. What a shot! That was a headshot down to 10 HP for Mimi. Well, this one looked like it was under threat with the double peek on mid, but now a triple peek on mid from GX is putting Rescue in the bin. She's managed to somehow make it out of there. They haven't got control of the site. Jolene is not offering it up.
Low HP tagged up. This is a round that at this stage almost looks unlosable. Petra looks to lead the way, the only healthy player, and it is falling apart. Left all on to Mimi. She clutches this one. I think we call this a best of 3 because I just don't think there's any recovery. But with 15 seconds, there is no chance. And even looking to try and hunt her down, remove those extra guns. There are a few players with slightly lower economy over on that G2 side, so every little will help for the side of GX.
Mimi very much out of there. GX, as we said, it was 5 chances in a row. Now it's 4, still a few too many that any team would be comfortable with giving G2. Well, there's nothing that can be done about that now. The other scary thing as well, Tom, is with so many rounds to work with, you start to think that there comes a moment where G2 have all their ultimates and they just dump them into a round. There comes a moment where they bait your ultis out. You commit that little bit too much to a round as GX, and G2 will smell the blood in the water. They'll see the weakness. They'll break you down right afterwards. This has to be a flawless execute back into the game. We started in round 21 with GX looking a bit healthier in terms of the rifles. Rolling Thunder there as well. These could be big factors in their success.
Yeah. Mimi is 2 orbs away from having all 5 ults online though for G2. And that's a terrifying prospect. Whether you value them highly or not, there is a lot that potentially could be done. Rescue almost gets a sneaky opener. The level of confidence that she has is truly off the charts. Just to go through util and try and fight them, and Jolina already under some serious pressure. We'll hold on to her life, though.
They're not worried about the right side mid.
Oh, no.
Eventually, a smoke goes down as the push comes in, and Petra opening it up onto Jolina. Damage done on Smurfette. Stun, catching her after. Swing in from Rescue is perfect. And the ult activated to cause problems. Sure, she'll go down, but she's done her job. A 4v2 B-site control, utility removed, and just a flash left for Sarah that they can put stock into. It's not like you're going to look at it, save it for the next round. It's do or die, and it looks like GX's decision is made for them as G2, 4 versus 1, 1-0 up in maps. We're about to secure Sunset and have 3 maps that they only need to take 1 of. This is a terrifying prospect for GX, and one that's just being realized. 2-0 for G2.
There's a reason that myself and Billy have a lot of confidence in this team, and I'm sure many, many people watching at home. It has always been undesirable to play up against them in any point of the tournament, but when there's a trophy on the line, when you head to the LAN stage, there are few with more experience or talent than the people currently on the stage. We'll be back after the break to see if